We want you to plan for success. Welcome to Planning Matters Radio.
Welcome back, everyone. Peter, good to see you. Today, I want to chat through, can I retire early? A recent survey of 2,000 retired Americans found that they'd expected to retire at 63.2 years old, but instead retired at 61.5. And 1 in 3 said they would have retired earlier if they could. Who wouldn't,
Of
right?
course, right? Yeah.
But here's the question. How much money do I need to retire early?
Well, probably more than you think.
Yeah.
And by early, it really depends. Are we talking about before 59 and a half, which I've got some clients that absolutely aspire to do that, which takes some very specific, careful planning if you are going to do that before you can technically make withdrawals from traditional retirement accounts? Or are we just talking about early, before full retirement age as deemed by Social Security? That's sort of a little different ball of wax, if you will, but also still takes some careful planning. So we really need to kind of map out our timeline. And, going back to those 2,000 surveyed, that was about 2 years before they expected. A lot of retirements, unfortunately, don't happen according to our own intended timeline. There is a lot of unexpected retirement. So we really need to be in a state of perpetual preparedness to possibly face unemployment or retirement. We've got to have that plan in place. So plan carefully.
Right. So what's the first step to figuring out what will get me to and through retirement?
Doing an income allocation plan, Aaron, is really important. And this is not an investment plan. This is not a look at the collection of stocks, bonds, and mutual funds that you have in your portfolio and running an analysis of the rate of return. An income allocation plan is very different than an investment plan. An income allocation plan is really where the rubber meets the road as far as how much do I need to support my lifestyle expenses into and throughout retirement, and then how much income can my portfolio generate? Where do the two match? Or if they don't match, how am I going to generate the rest of that income? And by looking at that financial process a little backwards, really, from the conventional way that we look at the investment portfolio, we can really become a little bit more confident in our retirement preparedness and the timeline for when we will be able to retire. I really suggest that people start planning that retirement income on the very first day of their working career. It doesn't usually start that early, but don't wait until the day before retirement to get that plan put together.
Right. Of course, if you retire early, you're no longer receiving a paycheck. So a lot of us would be tempted to claim Social Security early, but that can lead to a lifetime of reduced benefits.
Yeah. And of course, if you claim and collect Social Security early, you are locking into a lower lifetime amount, not just your lifetime, but beyond your own lifetime for a spouse, for a survivor benefit would be reduced as well. And you do not bump back up to the full amount once you hit full retirement age. It is locking that in. Now, there are sort of two schools of thought there. One is, let's get it while the getting's good. The building's on fire. We've heard problems about the Social Security trust fund running dry. So let's rush out and get it as soon as we can at 62. Plus, I'd like to retire early, maybe. And then there's the other school of thought that wait until 70 to maximize your potential lifetime benefit. And all of the lines tend to converge somewhere between about 79 and 81 for the break even. If we look at Social Security alone in a vacuum, but Social Security is not alone in a vacuum. So we really need to look at how we are coordinating our Social Security and what strain and stress and reliance that will put on our personal assets and net worth. Because yes, we could have delayed till 70 and gotten more from Social Security. It looks like the most profitable, but the rate of return that we could have gotten on those dollars that we had to withdraw in order to delay Social Security actually would push that break-even point out a little further. So we really need to look at the strategies to try to optimize Social Security. And the way that I look at it is Social Security is a tool to protect your personal assets as much as possible, because you can't reach into Social Security and pull out extra if something comes up. And if you do pass away early, it's not like it transfers on to your beneficiaries. So that's what your personal assets are for. So let's use Social Security to protect the security that your personal assets are providing you.
And last and perhaps most important, Peter, we need to talk through healthcare because most of us rely on our employer for health insurance, and Medicare doesn't start until you're 65. So what if I want to retire at 60? What do I do for those 5 gap years?
Yeah, eek. This is kind of the elephant in the room, is those healthcare expenses if we do want to retire pre-Medicare age. And the number is obviously going to differ based on the individual, the health of them, the kind of plan that they want. But ballpark, I mean, somewhere between, I'm paying for my young family of 3 about $1,300 a month for health insurance for a 1 physical each a year. But I have heard from clients that it's ballpark around that same price, or maybe even a little bit more for an individual around age 60. So maybe we want to say like $1,500 a month in, month out, every month from the age that you retire early all the way up through that 65 Medicare eligibility. That can add up to a pretty large expense that we need to budget for in addition to all of our other routine costs. So yeah, if we are planning on retiring early, that is definitely something that specifically does need to be addressed, accounted, and budgeted for. And then of course, we've got a nice reduction in our healthcare expenses when we do hit Medicare age, but it's not free. There are premiums for Medicare as well. And by the way, those are means tested based on your amount of other income. It determines how much you pay for your Medicare premiums even after 65. So plan it out, plan it out, Aaron, is the bottom line.
So many variables to consider. It's so important and different for everybody, of course. But Peter, thank you very much for taking the time to talk it through with me. If somebody has questions about if they can retire early, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, I've got lots of clients that we have worked through this with them to either give them the confidence that they can or give them some reason and motivation to think about working a few extra years. Never going to be harmful for your financial well-being, but we do need to balance that with our life goals, mental, emotional, psychological well-being. If you'd like to find out, give us a call, 919-300-5886, 919-300-5886. You can also visit online, RichonPlanning.com. It's my last name, but it looks like RichOnPlanning.com because you don't get rich on accident or stay rich on accident. So give us a call, 919-300-5886. Visit us online, RichonPlanning.com, or you can email me, Peter@RichonPlanning.com.
All right. Peter, thanks so much for your time today.
Always a pleasure, Aaron. Thank you.
This has been Planning Matters Radio.
The content of this radio show is provided for informational purposes only and is not a solicitation or recommendation of any investment strategy. You are encouraged to seek investment, tax, or legal advice from an independent professional advisor. Any investments and/or investment strategies mentioned involve risk, including the possible loss of principal. Advisory services offered through Brookstone Capital Management, a registered investment advisor.
Fiduciary duty extends solely to investment advisory advice and does not extend to other activities such as insurance or broker-dealer services. Advisory clients are charged a quarterly fee for assets under management, while insurance products pay a commission, which may result in a conflict of interest regarding compensation.